Let me ask you something. How many times have you wondered, how many calories should I actually be eating? It's a question that sends so many of us down a rabbit hole of confusing answers online. Well, today, we're going to cut through all of that noise. We are going to build a clear, evidence-based plan to find your personal number.
You know, it feels like it should have a simple answer, doesn't it? But then you look at online calculators, you check out fitness apps, you read diet books, and they all seem to spit out a different number. It leaves most of us just, well, completely confused and guessing.
And this right here is exactly why getting it right matters so much. Guessing wrong can mean you stall out, you get frustrated, and your metabolism just kind of slows down to deal with it all. But here's the good news. You don't have to guess anymore.
So, here's our game plan for the next few minutes. We're going to go through 5 simple steps that will take you from total confusion to complete clarity. We'll start with why guessing fails, get into how your body really works, and by the end, you'll have a personalized blueprint for success.
Okay, so let's jump right in. Step 1 is to really get a handle on the one thing at the heart of this entire conversation. What in the world is a calorie anyway?
That's it. It's not some villain you have to fight. It's just fuel. Honestly, the best way to think about it is like gasoline for your car. It's what your body's engine needs to run, whether you're crushing a workout or just, sleeping.
And make no mistake, your body's engine is always on. Every single thing you do, from the stuff you think about like exercise, to all the automatic stuff like your heart beating or your brain working, all of it uses up that energy. So your daily calorie need is just the grand total of all that work.
Okay, so how do we possibly measure that grand total? Well, we use a concept called Total Daily Energy Expenditure, or TDEE. Seriously, if there is one acronym you take away from this explainer, this is the one. TDEE is the number that truly matters.
Think of your TDE as your body's entire energy budget for a single day. It accounts for, well, everything. Knowing this number is the absolute key to taking control because it tells you exactly how much fuel your specific body needs to operate.
Now, this is where it gets super interesting. Just look at how that budget breaks down. See that massive slice of the pie? That's your BMR, your basal metabolic rate. That's the energy your body burns just to keep you alive at rest. It's a massive 60 to 70% of your total calorie burn. This is exactly why starving yourself is just never the answer. Your body needs a ton of energy just to exist.
All right, let's get practical. You don't need to go to some fancy lab to figure this out. We can actually get a very, very accurate estimate with a simple 2-step calculation that's backed by a ton of research.
And yeah, it's really this easy. First, we're going to figure out that biggest piece of your energy budget, your BMR. Then, we're simply going to multiply it based on how active you are to find your TDEE. That's it.
Okay, I know this looks a little intimidating, but trust me, it's not. This is the Mifflin-St. Jeor equation, and study after study has shown it's the most accurate way to calculate your BMR without lab gear. So go ahead and pause here for a second to plug in your own numbers. Just remember to use kilograms for weight and centimeters for height. This number you get is your baseline.
You got it? Awesome. Now for step 2. Just take that BMR number you calculated and look at this chart. Find the description that best fits your lifestyle. And, be honest with yourself here. If you have a desk job and you work out 3 days a week, you're probably moderately active. Multiply your BMR by that number and boom, you've got your TDEE estimate.
So, what does that number actually mean? It's your maintenance level. This is the crucial part. If you eat this many calories every day, your weight should, in theory, stay pretty much the same. This is our starting line.
All right, now that we have our maintenance number, our baseline, this is where the real fun begins. We can now strategically adjust it to help you hit whatever your goal is, whether that's losing some fat or building muscle.
And the logic here is super simple. For fat loss, you need to be in what's called a calorie deficit. So you'll subtract a moderate number of calories from your TDE. For muscle gain, you need a surplus to fuel that new growth. So you'll add a little bit. See? These are small, smart adjustments, not huge, drastic changes.
And this is exactly why we're being strategic about it. For fat loss, aiming to lose about 0.5% to 1% of your body weight each week is really the sweet spot. It's sustainable, it helps you hold on to muscle, and it stops that metabolic backlash you get from crash dieting.
Now, it is absolutely vital to remember that any calculator is just a really good starting point. Your personal energy needs are totally unique. They're influenced by everything from your genetics and how much muscle you have, to your stress levels and even how much you fidget.
This is why you and a friend who weigh the same can have totally different calorie needs.
And that brings us to the final, and I think the most important part of this whole thing. How do you go from a pretty good estimate to a number that is perfectly dialed in for you? Simple. You start listening to the one expert who knows you best, your own body.
Seriously, forget what the calculator or the app says for a second. The real-world data from your own body is the ultimate source of truth. It doesn't lie. If the scale is moving in the direction you want it to, you're on the right track. If it's not, it just means it's time for a small adjustment. No big deal. So here it is. This is the final blueprint that puts everything together. 1. Calculate your BMR. 2. Multiply for your TDE. 3. Adjust that number for your goal. 4. And this is the key, track your progress consistently for a couple of weeks. And 5. Based on what your body tells you, make small tweaks up or down by about 150 to 200 calories. That's how you find your true number.
So there you have it. You now have a science-based, reliable method that puts you in the driver's seat. You're not guessing anymore. You have the knowledge, you have the tools to take control. So the only real question left is, what are you going to do with it?